Hello, everyone. I hope everyone is well this week. I'm actually going to talk about safety as well as process recording for groups. So, first, I'm going to start with safety, both safety concerns that I may have regarding COVID 19 or any other transmittable diseases, specifically that affect the respiratory system because I'm an asthmatic, as well as this my physical safety because of the site that I will be participating in for my field placement. So, when it comes to COVID 19 concerns, believe it or not, I'm actually not that concerned when it comes to my field placement site. The reason for that is because the participants have been housed there for approximately 0 to 9 months. Before that, they experienced the first stages of treatment, which are detox and the initial effects of withdrawal. They remain in a separate, isolated area while that's happening in the medical unit, and they're there for about a month, getting tested and treated as well. They are having minimal, if no, contact with anyone outside. So I'm not really concerned with them giving me anything, but I have to be careful with me not giving it to anyone else because I do have another job and I do take public transportation, and so I have to be mindful of that. The building facility itself is also mindful of that. So upon arrival, everyone has to wear masks. You get your temperature checked, and there are sanitizing stations placed throughout every floor. In reference to safety with the population, I think I should be fine. Um, the population is all male. As I said, they are residents on that floor or unit. Um, the predominant gender of the staff is also male. Of course, there are females on the floor, but the predominant gender are males. That does help because the population is all male. They're not a co op. So it's 75 men, total of 30 different rooms. So I remember my classmate discussing locked doors several weeks ago. Interestingly, the facility also has that policy. All doors are locked. The participants are not allowed back into their room until specific times of the evening, specifically for safety purposes and to be able to really just observe them and their behavior and to make sure that there's no trouble. Last week when I walked in, I did walk into um, a pretty interesting situation, one that is not infrequent in social services, which is a client objecting to some rules and regulations and policies of the facility, which was that you cannot leave the facility. He refused to abide by the policy and he left against medical consent. That does happen. That even happens in the medical field. So it was interesting to just walk in on that and see how that was managed. Now, in reference to process recordings, I am a little bit nervous because part of my learning objectives is to facilitate groups. I've facilitated employment groups before and workshops, but not any groups that have to do with substance abuse, treatment, and things of that nature. So I was provided some materials so that I could learn a little bit more about substance abuse, the theories behind it, their evidence-based practices, and hopefully I'm able to incorporate that into the groups, at least in my understanding, so that I can have a better understanding of the information that I will be gathering while I'm co-facilitating and facilitating groups eventually. There was one other thing. Let me see. Oh, yes. Back to the process recordings. I apologize. It's been a long day. I've done process recordings, as we all have, for our first year, but they were done with individuals. I've never really had the experience of doing a process recording for a group. So I am a little bit nervous about being able to retain all the information. I will probably take my advice that I gave to Heather and focus on one or two clients and see if that's okay. So I wish everyone a great evening and have a good night.